Level design is when environments are created for a game in the form of locations, levels, stages and missions. My focus will be on the competitive three-dimensional games, Smite and Counter-Strike Global Offensive, and how the level design within these games affects the gameplay. In the book, Game Development Essentials, Game Level Design, written by Travis Castillo and Gina Novak, the authors claim that a level is a subsection of a game in which the player interacts with the world, and then go on to break it down into further subsections such as settings, goals, risk, reward, and puzzles. The two games I will talk about both display all of these subsections in different ways due to their difference in genre. In the Counter-Strike level named Dust 2, the setting, which is the visual side of the level, is based off a Middle Eastern town. The goal is to plant explosives on either bomb site, and there are many routes that the player can take that may be dangerous, however reward the player when done successfully. While there may not be any obvious applications of a puzzle within the Counter-Strike levels, it can be argued that having areas that can only be reached through standing on another player counts as this. These all add to how the level is played and makes it so that there are many different possibilities within the level. Level design is a system that can either make a game great or ruin it entirely. An article titled Beginning Level Design Part 1, written by Tim Ryan for Gamasutra, states that good levels, and hence good games, will immerse the player and suspend their disbelief, while referring to escapism through games. This means that when a level is done right, it can immerse the player completely into the game and often form an emotional attachment to the level. Counter-Strike is a good example of this system done correctly. One of the key reasons why the level design within Counter-Strike is so great is because of the three-lane layout. This can be done one of two ways, either symmetrically, which is the case with Smite, or asymmetrically, which is done within Counter-Strike. In most cases, this can affect game balancing, however this is less of an issue in Counter-Strike, as the layout is set up to allow for every player to have an even chance in each fight, due to the time it takes to reach positions in the level from the start of the round. The three-lane layout is great for competitive games with small teams because it encourages strategy. It causes the players to split up, which can then lead to players being easily outnumbered. An example of this can be seen when the attacking team attempts to take a bomb site. Here you can see the attacking team split up into three groups. Two other players assault the site, two stay back and watch for any defenders that may try to flank the attackers, and one stays close to the other bomb site, causing the defenders to be split, making the bomb site easier to attack. This is only made possible due to the layout of the level, which allows players to take control of certain areas and make it difficult for enemies to move around, causing teams to split up, giving the opposing team opportunities to attack. Another way that the layout of a level is used for strategy is when level design is combined with other systems. Counter-Strike contains grenades, which can be used to block off certain areas of the level. Here you can see how a smoke grenade is used to isolate the defender on the B bomb site from his teammates, allowing the attackers to assault the site much easier. Smite, like Counter-Strike, is also a competitive game, except Smite is a MOBA rather than a first-person shooter. This influences how the levels are created, as the goals in the two games differ. In Smite, the objective is to reach the enemy Titan through destroying towers along three lanes. The main difference in the way that the two games lay out their levels lies within symmetry. The levels within Smite are mirrored exactly, and are therefore symmetrical. This works well for Smite, mostly because of how the game is played. In Counter-Strike, every character is the same, so players turn to the level to gain an advantage over their enemies, whereas in Smite every character is unique and has their own set of abilities. This is because Smite is more focused on countering other players' characters with your own. This is important to consider when looking at the levels within Smite, because the levels themselves need to be as balanced as possible, while still rewarding players for certain playstyles. This is done through the level being split up into 4 segments. Each of these segments are made to favour certain characters, which allows for players not to just be stuck with head-on combat, and instead creates opportunities to catch other players off guard or traverse in these areas, allowing teams to find openings to attack. In a book named Game Level Design by Ed Byrne, the author states that a good level designer will create a level that is full of decisions players make. This is seen within Smite, as the only thing the player must do to win is destroy the enemy Titan. How they do this is entirely up to the player. A common strategy for reaching the enemy Titan is for the whole team to surprise attack the same enemies. They do this through using the jungle to remain undetected and attack the enemies that they are targeting, thus usually allowing them to take down a tower and get closer to the enemy Titan. Another important aspect of the level design within Smite that Counter-Strike does not have is the positioning of the power-ups. While the level is mirrored, causing each side to have the same power-ups, there are two power-ups in the middle of the level which are unique and give the team that takes them an edge. These power-ups are dangerous to attack, as they are in the middle of the jungle and often result in the entirety of both teams in combat. Overall, the quality of the level design is largely dependent on how well it reflects the goals of the game. If you were to use one of the levels from Counter-Strike within Smite, a lot of the level would seem useless. This is because the levels within Counter-Strike are made with line of sight in mind, causing many narrow corners and places to hide, which would become useless when combined with Smite gameplay, as it is third person, so players can look around corners without revealing themselves, and will have no way to punish enemies who they do surprise this way. This is why I believe level design is one of the most important aspects of game design, and that good levels are created when the designers understand how the game will be played, and integrate this into their levels.